Here are 10 things to practice the next time you go out on a twisty mountain road. So everything I'm about to go over, do it for at least 20 miles or 20 minutes. It's not gonna make much sense and you're not really gonna learn anything if you just do one of these things for 3 or 4 turns. So minimum 20 miles or 20 minutes. Or if you wanna be crazy like me, do one of these things all day long or even all week long. And whenever you're doing each one of these things, don't ride as fast as you absolutely can. Ride at a comfortable pace, but lower it down a little bit and do it on a familiar road. Number 1, no brakes. So get some speed going about 3rd or 4th gear. Try not to change gears at all, and you're not gonna be using any brakes while you're riding around on the twisty mountain roads. Because what you're gonna be practicing is this. You're practicing on your timing and your judgment. How early and how quickly do I need to roll off the throttle to get myself to slow down to make it through this corner where I'm at a comfortable speed, right? So if you're going into the corner and you roll off too fast, you may have to crack open the throttle before you get to the halfway point. Then you know it's a little bit too early. If you're rolling off the throttle too slowly, then you have to chop the throttle and get to the brakes to actually slow down to make the corner. Then it was a little bit too late. So the timing and the judgment you have with only the throttle, like, okay, do I need to start to roll off? Maybe wait right there, roll off a little bit more. So you're gonna learn all that stuff by practicing no brakes. So give that a try. That's number 1. Number 2. Now you're gonna ride around 20 miles, 20 minutes, rear brake only. So now you're doing the same thing. Try not to shift gears, go in 4th gear. You're riding around, so now you can roll off the throttle just like before. The timing, the judgment is still there. You're practicing that, but now you have a little bit of rear brake. So with no brakes, that's the lowest pace you're gonna be able to do. Now that you have the rear brake, now you can go a little bit quicker if you want to, and you'll learn this. You roll off the throttle, add a little bit of rear brake. How much rear brake will actually slow you down? That's what you're gonna figure out. Trail braking with the rear brake, what does it feel like? How fast can I actually go by using rear brake only? It's gonna get to the point after 20 miles or 20 minutes of practicing rear brake only or longer, you will realize, okay, I could ride this pace with the rear brake only. But if I wanted to transition and start going a little bit quicker, right about here is where the rear brake is no longer gonna be relevant, and now I need to transition to the front brake because of the pace that I'm going. Because remember, the pace that you're going determines everything. At a slower speed, you don't need certain tools or techniques. At quicker speeds, you need to do things differently, right? So at a lower pace, no brakes, no big deal. Now you go a little bit faster, now you have the rear brake only. How much can it actually slow down? What does it feel like to use the brake going into the turn? These are the types of things you're gonna figure out. So number 2, rear brake only. Number 3, now you're gonna be doing nothing but downshifting before the turn. So no brakes once again, go all the way up into 6th gear. And now you're rolling off the throttle, you're gonna downshift to 5th gear. If that's not enough to slow you down, 4th gear. If that's not enough to slow you down, 3rd gear. Okay, 3rd gear is good. You go through the corner, you come up out of the corner, 3rd gear, roll on the throttle, 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear. Here comes another corner, 5th gear, 4th gear. Still going too fast. 2nd gear, right? So you're just playing with the gears. What you're doing is you're learning how much engine braking is available from each gear as you go down one. And you're learning that about your bike. This is like an introduction to your own motorcycle. Like how quickly can you slow the bike down going from 6th to 4th gear without using any brakes? So these are the types of things you're gonna learn from doing these things one at a time. And that is why I say do it for minimum 20 miles or 20 minutes. For example, the rear brake thing, only the rear brake, I did that with my buddy. We did it all day long, rear brake only. And you learn a whole lot of things like, wow, okay, rear brake only. I can still go pretty quick, but I need to roll up the throttle way earlier to get the 0 throttle and pick up the brakes for a whole lot longer because it's not that powerful. I need to use the brakes a longer distance versus if I was using the front brake, I could stop in a lot shorter time because it's a more powerful brake. So these are the types of things you're gonna learn, right? So this one is shifting only. Just understand the engine braking. Number 4, this one is front brake trail braking specifically. And I'm letting you know up front, you are going to overslow every single turn. And that's perfectly fine because the whole point is learning to be on the brake. And as you're tipping in the motorcycle, trail braking is simply releasing the brake, front brake only, you're releasing the front brake as you add lean angle going into the turn. So every single turn, I don't care how fast or slow you're gonna roll off the throttle to 0, you're gonna get out a little bit of brakes. Maybe you only need 10%, maybe you're going fast enough, you need 30%, doesn't matter. You're gonna get on the brakes, the brake light will be on, whatever pressure you have. As you start to lean that bike, slowly release the brake, pretty much all the way until the middle point of the turn. Like I said, you are gonna overslow every turn, but this practice will just help you getting used to being on the brake and slowly manipulating that lever, slowly releasing that brake until you get all the way down into the turn. After 4 or 5 turns like this, remember you're gonna do this for 20 miles. After 4 or 5 turns like this, you're like, wow, okay, I can slow down a whole lot quicker than what I thought. After 4 or 5 turns, you start picking up a little bit more speed on the straightaway, roll off the throttle, get on that brake, feel the weight go forward, build up some pressure. As you start to lean, slowly release that rear brake. Keep it on, keep it on. You're gonna overslow every turn. That's okay. Because answer me this, if you overslow a turn, are you hurt? No problem, right? You're just getting used to being on that damn front brake and slowly releasing it as you add lean angle. So that's the practice. Number 5, and this one is my favorite, and this is the one I don't like to do the most. So the first part of it, there's 2 sides. So the first part of it is do perfect lines. Say you're going right, you're gonna start the double yellow line, you're gonna go all the way to the white line on the inside, and you're gonna go all the way back to the double yellow line on exit. Outside, inside, outside. Try to make a straight line as much as possible through the corner. Because if this is the middle of the turn, why do you start on the outside and why do you end on the outside? Well, you're trying to make the corner straighter, right? So if this is the middle of the turn, you start on the outside, you open up the radius. You exit on the outside, you open up the radius. I just made this corner straighter than what it is. That means I'll need less lean angle to make it through the corner. I'll spend less time on the edge of the tire. I'll have less max lean. I'm going straighter. You could go faster, you could brake harder. And you tell me, by using line, if you can make the road straighter than what it is, your line will be a straighter line than the curve itself, than the road itself. If a deer jumps out in front of you, would you rather brake really hard at 40 degrees of lean angle or 50 degrees of lean angle? Well, the less lean, the better, right? So that's the practice, perfect lines. So for about 20 miles or 20 minutes. After that, now assume the road is only 1 foot wide. No line selection whatsoever. Ride dead center in the middle of the road. That will teach you more than anything how much you actually enjoy line selection, because when you're riding in the middle of the road, if the road is slightly turning, going like this, where you could just go straight normally, now you have to follow the road because you're gonna ride in the middle of the road. And you're like, oh my God, this is so inefficient. Why am I just following the road like this? I'm so narrow. I could just go straight right now, no matter what the road is doing. So it's gonna highlight, if you use line selection to your advantage, you can make the road straighter than what it is. Less effort, way more efficient. You could do harder on the brakes, harder on the throttle. A lot of benefits to it, right? So no line and then line. That's the practice. Number 6, this is one of my favorite things to do. So get your bike up into 3rd or 4th gear. Once you get going a little bit, take your left hand, put on the gas tank. Ride one-handed. You're gonna be practicing counter steering and brake usage and throttle, everything with one hand. So if you wanna go right, you push right, you lean right, you go right. Now you're in a straight line, you have a left-hand turn coming up. How do you go left? Well, you obviously pull on the right handlebar. So if you could ride around in the twisty mountain roads at a pretty comfortable pace, nothing too fast and nothing too slow, if you could ride around on the twisty mountain roads one-handed, you actually know how to steer the bike. If this even freaks you out, like, oh, there's no way I can ride one-handed, you don't understand the basics of how to steer your motorcycle. So I highly recommend, if this would freak you out, practice first in a parking lot, like just going in circles or doing figure 8s one-handed to understand. It's just forward or backwards pulling or pushing. That's all it is. But if you take one arm away, you should still be able to ride in the twisty mountain roads at a comfortable pace, because it doesn't take any energy to go right. You want to go right, you just look and then push. You want to go left, look, pull. That's it. Number 7, and I just made a video about this, so I just want you to imagine you're riding around just like Mario Kart back in the day. Imagine there's a whole bunch of bananas or ladders or smashed pumpkins or squirrels or deer. Just imagine there's a whole bunch of crap in the middle of the road, and while you're riding through the turns, stand the bike up, swerve around the squirrel. Oh crap, here comes a basketball that someone just threw out. Oh, a deer, a refrigerator jumped out of nowhere, a dinosaur, a big cupcake. So you're going like this, you're accelerating, you're slowing down, get a little bit of brake, swerve, swerve, practice. Oh crap, deer, right? Squirrel, I don't know what's going on, dragon. So you're going through the turns, and while you're in the middle of the turn, standing it up to swerve around, slow it back down, accelerate. So you're practicing all these things. Just imagine there's something on the road when there's not, right? And that's the point, because when something really does happen, when there actually is a pile of gravel or a dead deer or whatever in the middle of the road, the worst time to wish you would have practiced doing something like this is when there actually is something you need to swerve in the middle of the turn. So practice all this stuff while the road is nice and clean. So that way when something does happen, you're already used to doing it, you won't just freak out. So that's the practice. Imagine there's a bunch of crap in the road, swerve all around it. Don't let anything get you, and don't hit anything. Number 8. For this one, I want you to focus on strong exits. So I don't care about your entry speed. Go into it as slow as you want. Whenever you're comfortable with your speed, no problem. But on exit, I want you to practice rolling on that throttle and how quickly can you get to 100% throttle. Now, I'm not saying hold it at 100% throttle and go blind speeds, but I just want you to practice doing this. Here's your lean angle, here's the throttle. Just 100% throttle and then roll it back off to your comfortable speed on the straightaway. Okay, here comes another turn. Roll off the throttle, use the brakes, whatever you want to do. Get the thing slowed down. Once you get it pointed, full throttle. It might just be full throttle for 1 second. Just bam, full throttle, then right back off. But just practice how quickly can you get up to full throttle. And you'll realize, wow, I could get the full throttle way more aggressive than what I thought. But if you snap on it too hard, the bike might wiggle, traction control light might come on. You're like, okay, that was too much. The next corner, go into it slow in, fast out, slow, let the bike turn. Once it's pointed, roll on that throttle and just play around with strong exits. That's the practice. Number 9, I want you to practice only this one concept, the slowest point of the turn. So in the middle of my fingers, this is the middle of the turn. So my arms are the turn. Right? Slowest point of the turn for any turn is around the midway point. 90-degree turn, 180-degree turn, it doesn't damn matter. At some point, the bike is going to be going the slowest. You're going 80, 40, 80. So this is all I want you to do. How quickly can I get to and away from the slowest point of the turn? Because I want you to understand, if you're only comfortable going 40 right here, but you're comfortable going 80 in the straightaway, you do not have to slow down to 40 miles per hour way the hell back here. This is still the straightaway. You could be going 80 right here, slow, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. Let the bike slow point turn, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. A lot of times people do this. Here's the slowest point of the turn, 40 miles per hour. They're going 80 and they're like, oh my God, I'm going way too fast. And they think they have to slow down to 40 way back here. Then they're going 40 in the straightaway. They slam on the brakes, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. And they take 40 the whole damn turn. There's no need to do that. You only need to be going 40 at the slowest point, and the slowest point of any turn is in the middle of the turn somewhere, right? And you want to be going 40 for the shortest time possible. You're going 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You see what I'm saying? So just focus on riding for 20 miles or 20 minutes or 100 miles, however long you want to practice. Focus on where's the slowest point of the turn? How quickly can I get my bike to that point, get it slowed down, pointed, and accelerate away from that point? So how fast can you get to and away from the slowest point of the turn, which is the middle of the turn? Number 10. So the last thing to practice, and this is last for a reason. So whenever you're practicing these things, don't do this stuff out of order, because here's number 10, entry speed. It's only after you practice no brakes, rear brake only, downshifting, front brake, trail braking, one-handed, strong exits. You practiced everything else and you got good at that stuff because you're doing this stuff for minimum 20 miles or 20 minutes. Then finally, the last thing to do is think about entry speed. If you want to crash very fast, go in the corner way faster than what you're comfortable with. That's why this is last. So you go into the corner 80 miles per hour. You're going 80, the slowest point is 50. 80, 70, 60, 50. You get the bike slow, pointed, stand it up, 70, 80 miles, right? You're good. The next time you take the same corner in the same conditions, go 85, just 5 mile per hour difference. Slow. Get the thing slow down to the slowest point. You see the exit, stand up, accelerate up and out of there. That was still good. You're still calm. There's nothing freaking yourself out. So now you're going 90, slow down, slow, 90, 87, 60, 50, 40. Holy crap. Once you start to feel nervous at all, you're getting close to your skill speed limit. So that's when you know, don't go any faster into that damn turn. You see what I'm saying? That's why this is the last thing to think about or worry about. That's why they say, and it's true for a reason, slow in, fast out. Once you understand trail braking and you get really good at it, then it's fast in, fast out. But that's not for a while until you really understand how to slow that bike down, you really understand the slowest point of the turn, etc. So that's number 10. Do that for 20 miles or 20 minutes or for a week or a month or 1,000 miles, whatever you want to do, but minimum 20 miles or 20 minutes. The last homework assignment, after you just heard all these different things, the last homework assignment is watch every single video that I pinned to the top comment of this video. And of course, all these things are for high-speed cornering practice. Like this is the homework assignment that I explain every single time I do one of my one-on-one cornering sessions with people, because I do a one-on-one cornering session, high-speed cornering on the public road. And then they ask me, well, from what I'm doing, how I'm riding to what you just showed me, that's a big gap of distance. What are the steps to get to that point? So I started saying a bunch of these things. I eventually started writing them down, and these are the 10 homework assignments I tell everybody I do a one-on-one cornering session with. But I want everybody to have the knowledge, so that's why I'm giving it to you. And if you wanted to get better at low speed stuff, that's what my MotoJitsu drills are. I have a whole entire system, belt drills you can set up in a parking lot, just get some tennis balls cut in half, get some cones, get my app or the books, and you could go set the stuff up and practice and get better at low speed stuff. But all these homework assignments are specifically for high speed cornering, which just means you're going faster than parking lot speeds for the most part. If you do the minimum 20 miles or 20 minutes for each of these homework assignments, after that, you're gonna be a whole lot better, I guarantee it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and check out the links below in the description for all my other crap discounts, courses, all my gear, everything else I have.